Bad news. It looks like Devin Haney may not get the chance to clarify the undisputed situation at lightweight. They're saying Lomachenko is next up to bat more than likely, and he has agreed to his side of the terms to face George Kambosos in Australia. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. If you guys could please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Very important for 2022, so I continue hitting you guys with the latest and greatest. Now, ESPN has reported this. I will read it for you. Says Vasyl Lomachenko has agreed to his side of a deal to potentially fight undisputed lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr. Sources said that deal includes a rematch clause for a lucrative return bout in Australia if Kambosos loses. Kambosos has not agreed to the deal yet, per sources, but if Kambosos fights Lomachenko, the bout will be televised by ESPN. Boo! This is exactly what I told you I didn't want to happen, right? Devin Haney responded to this news and says, whatever he'd taken, I'll take the same offer. Listen, this is just getting to a point where it's very in your face. It's very flagrant what is happening to namely black fighters from the WBC. Roll the clip.
The other one, lightweight. As I explained it yesterday, it was very complicated 3 years ago.
He says the WBC lightweight picture was very complicated 3 years ago. It's even more complicated now, so I don't even know what he's talking about. This is Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC president. Let's listen in what he said about Undisputed.
Be exchanged in a high-profile fight, great opportunities to many fighters, and I stand proud. It is not something that is going to happen in every weight category. It's not that. It is not that. So
Haney has the WB.
Listen.
Is that all, Danny?
Just a very quick follow-up. We regard George Kambosos as truly undisputed, as Devin Haney has the WBC lightweight title.
Yes, Devin Haney is the WBC lightweight title.
Devin Haney is the WBC lightweight title. But wait, there's more.
He's a pride WBC champion.
He's a pride champion.
He has grown into being a tremendous.
So this is just all like trying to soften the blow to how really screwed up it is.
Tremendous champion. He defeated Gamboa, defeated Linares.
This is just a summary of everything we know about what Devin Haney, what it took for him to get there.
Just had a great outing with Jojo Diaz. As I said, it's a new concept. Kambosos defeated Lopez, who defeated Lomachenko. So I do believe he is due recognition as undisputed champion, and great fights to come.
Undisputed champion. So the basic gist of what's happening is they are playing keep away from black fighters in the sport of boxing. There's no other way for me to sugarcoat it and, you know, and make it sound any better, right? Couple questions you have to ask. George Kambosos, this is not my opinion. This is George Kambosos. Listen to me, people. This is George Kambosos. George Kambosos, if you listen to what he was saying in or around the time he was fighting Teofimo Lopez, it might have been before or just after it. He says that if he wins or after he won, it was either just before the Teofimo fight or right after it. I don't remember the exact date, but I could certainly pull it up, and so can you by using your fingers and typing it on Google. Anywho, he literally said he wasn't interested in a Lomachenko fight because Teofimo already been there, done that, and he just beat Teofimo. So I'm pretty sure it was after. He said, why fight Lomachenko? And then now ESPN is reporting that he's on board and he signed his copy of the deal. And the fight that makes a lot more sense would be, as I mentioned, the two fights that I said I personally want to see. Gervonta Davis, just because he's a big star. They tell you Lomachenko is a big star, but he's not putting butts in the seats. When he fought Anthony Corolla in LA was the same weekend that Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace, was assassinated, right? And to pay homage, the whole city of LA came out, and Lomachenko had to move his weigh-in because Nipsey Hussle is so beloved everywhere, but definitely in LA. So they had to relocate Lomachenko's weigh-in because because that fight was at the Staples Center and nobody was trying to see that. Everybody was, I think they televised the memorial for Nipsey Hussle. Lomachenko is not a big name in America. Now, I understand the fight is said to happen in Australia, but Australia's own George Kambosos, he says people were waiting for him at the airport. So it doesn't really matter if it's Devin Haney because George Kambosos is the star attraction where he's from, where the fight would take place. They want who they want to have belts in boxing, and it's so apparent. Listen, I have nothing against Lomachenko, but the fact is he lost to Teofimo. He didn't rematch Teofimo. Teofimo is not rematching George Kambosos, and Lomachenko was already the franchise champion to avoid fighting Devin Haney. So once again, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is basically playing keep away, and the politics are stagnating certain fights. Lomachenko has already been a champion. He's already been a respected champion. But what they did to Devin Haney is wrong, because Devin Haney, per the WBC and some of that clip that I played for you and their explanation, it's a new procedure, it's a new program, they screwed Devin Haney out of the equation to the point where he didn't get to fight this man and Teofimo Lopez did. Now you have George Kambosos and Teofimo after he beat Lomachenko when he had the belts, and they're running around calling Devin Haney feather-fisted. They're running around calling a black fighter a paper champion, an email champion, but that's not right and it's not fair, because if this man on the screen and Top Rank got in the fight and like agreed to fight their mandatory, then we wouldn't be worrying about this. We wouldn't be worried about this because Devin Haney would have either fought Lomachenko and lost. So if he lost fair and square, then you couldn't beat the man, so you're not a champion, right? But if Devin Haney beat Lomachenko, then guess what? He would be a incredulous and qualified champion. And this is what they don't want. It's like the Black Murderers Row 2022 in boxing. Do you know, you see all of the same usual suspects, old media. They'll tell you that Charlo and Andrade need to fight, and Jacobs and Andrade and Jacobs and Charlo. But then when it comes to Canelo, they'll say he don't have to fight nobody and he could fight Makbuk Air, Rocky Fielding, or whoever else. And it's the same thing with Lomachenko. More politics. They want him to have a belt so bad. He beat Nakatani and Komei. This is literally is like Captain Planet. They literally just recycle guys that Teofimo had already beaten, one by stanky leg knockout, which was Richard Komei. And then I'm supposed to be amazed because Lomachenko, after losing to Teofimo, never avenging the fight, he beat the guys that Teofimo on his way up had already beaten. And that's how the game goes. And now they're trying to stifle Devin Haney and keep him out of the equation. Devin's telling you, hey, I'll take the same amount of money that he's taking. Look, he said, I'm ready for whoever, whenever, duck season. Hashtag the dream. Shout out to Zab. And here's the thing. Look, someone calling George Kambosos a duck. It's sad. It's sad because everybody says everything else. Oh, he's pillow fisted. Fight him then, and then get him out the way if you can do it. See, that doesn't work. That's like, it's like archaic. It's very archaic what old media tries to do with these talking points. It's not going to work as long as I'm in boxing. 2, it's not going to work as long as the power of social media and NFTs and digital space. I told you I run this digital space, and it's just very passe what they're doing. They're saying, oh, nobody wants to see Devin Haney. I'm a consumer. I want to see Devin Haney. I have money to spend for boxing, as you guys well know, and I want to see Devin Haney versus Kambosos. So who is old media or Bob Arum or whoever to tell me, the consumer, that the world wants to see Lomachenko fight and not Devin Haney because he's pillow fit? I'll pay for the Devin Haney fight and George Kambosos. I want to see new blood. Lomachenko already had opportunities. He had the belt and then he lost twice. They try to erase his losses on ESPN as well, so you forget about him. They try to erase it. On ESPN, 2 times that I've counted, at least 2 times, they showed motion graphics on the screen, and it showed Lomachenko as being undefeated. And I think one time it said he had a draw, but it didn't show and indicate that he had a loss. Meanwhile, you have an undefeated black fighter who just did what old media told him to do, which was fight somebody in the top 10. He did that with Jorge Linares, former champion, who put Lomachenko on his butt. Didn't put Devin Haney on his butt. And Devin Haney, you guys have to understand, Devin Haney's current age right now, based on his trajectory and not staying an amateur, even though he had a decorated amateur career, he didn't stay an amateur as long as Lomachenko. So the age Devin, look it up, the age Devin Haney is right now, he is younger than Lomachenko when Lomachenko turned pro. Reason being, Lomachenko is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, so he stayed at least 8 years and then some, because he was in the World of Boxing tournament and he stayed an amateur so long, and that's why he has like 400 amateur fights. So by the time he turned pro, he was like 25, 26 off rip. Devin Haney, he turned pro and started getting pro level experience in Mexico, and that's why he has the record he has, because he was active. He was just active, getting, the mileage in. And he was 17. In fact, he had to fight in Mexico because he was so young, he couldn't get a proper license to fight in American venues at the time until he turned 18. So he's like, I'm not gonna stay an amateur and I want to stay busy, so I'm gonna get the experience. But now, after all that talk from Kambosos and Devin Haney said he'll go to Jupiter, and the funny thing is, they can't even say that Devin Haney is holding it up in some capacity, like, oh, but Loma is willing to go to Australia, because guess what? Devin Haney said, I'll go to Jupiter, I'll go to Australia to fight you. So it's not like Lomachenko carries any type of advantage in that situation. They both said they're willing to go to Australia. So please tell me why you want to fight this guy on the screen that lost to the guy you just beat, as opposed to an undefeated guy who just fought he fought 2 guys that are rated in the top 10, and he made them look pretty bad. So explain how this works. So this is either George Kambosos, his father, or Lou DiBella, or whoever, and they like the Lomachenko fight. And what is this about Lomachenko doing a rematch in Australia? Like, he's just like, what is that about? So do the first fight and the second fight in Australia. And here's another reason why, me personally, because Floyd Mayweather showed me the gems. All these other promoters and other people, they keep trying to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Floyd Mayweather showed me that you can have an illustrious career, fight big events, and he stayed in Las Vegas for almost his entire Money Mayweather career, and made the most money out of all. He made way more money than Lomachenko. He made more money than all these dudes, right? He made more money than all these dudes. Did numbers that none of these dudes can contend with. Even Canelo. Canelo has no number that's greater than the Pacquiao fight or the McGregor fight for Floyd. Floyd was a smart guy. He knew exactly who would sell. He knew the fans were rooting for him. Some were rooting against him, and he played to that. Floyd is the GOAT. But anywho, it doesn't make sense, people. It really doesn't make sense. and they're trying to take all these fights overseas and stuff. And I know they're trying to accommodate and do the fight on Sunday so it comes on Saturday, but it's not the same feeling, I can assure you. When Floyd Mayweather fought, even when he was fighting Maidanas and stuff like that, they felt like big events. You wanted to take the day off from work, things like that. When Lomachenko fights, it doesn't feel like that. He a good little fighter. Lomachenko, he a good little fighter, but it doesn't have the same umph. Man, I'm gonna be so disappointed if George Kambosos chooses Lomachenko. I don't want to see that. I don't want to keep seeing these recycle. Listen, I told you from the jump, I'd rather see Ryan Garcia, and I don't even think Ryan Garcia deserves Kambosos, but at the very least, it's fresh blood. They keep trying to put Lomachenko, and he has the same style in all his fights, and they're trying to force feed you him. Even when Terrence Crawford was fighting, this is what Errol Spence said. When Terrence Crawford was fighting, all they did was talk about Lomachenko anyway. Man, I'm done. Subscribe to the channel. I'm done talking about it. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.